The following program, though incredibly nerdy, is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised, and you probably shouldn't watch if you're an overly sensitive pussy.
Someone is coming. And it's me. From all the excitement from San Diego Comic-Con this week, no other reason or possible misinterpretation of what I'm talking. Anyway, what up? Welcome on in. Welcome on into another stream here on the week of San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah. I'm excited. Uh-oh, is there something wrong with the audio? Chris says the audio's choppy. Is it choppy? Do I need to fix it? Should I unplug everything again? Oh, okay. Is there a way to turn the poll off? What the hell's wrong with you guys in the poll? Why is everybody so upset about the poll? What is happening today? Anyway, welcome on in. Oh, wait, hang on. I gotta adjust the thing. Damn it. There's no audio, only Doom? Oh, man. Oh man, we're a Clayface channel now. Oh my God, we're still on that Clayface, huh? We're still trying to trigger me over the Clayface shit. Is that what's happening? Is that what I got to deal with today? That's what we got going on. New Resident Evil trailer. I heard it looks good. I didn't really watch it. I'm not really into horror like that, but yeah, people said it looked good, huh? DC is back. What do you mean? I mean, yeah, I don't know. Wish them well. You know, wish them well. Hope they have a good San Diego Comic-Con. When's James Gunn getting out on stage for Hall H? You know, where's the trailers for all the rest of the DC news and all that? You know what I mean? Hopefully they'll get some good updates. Clayface looks like a sequel to Vanilla Sky. Oh, that's cool. Vanilla Sky's a cool movie. Have you seen The Odyssey? I have not. DC was never back in the first place. Oh man, guys, whoa. Take it down a couple of notches. Listen, Linda, I'm trying to have what's known as a chill ass day. That's what they call it in the streets. So we don't have to get all, about this stuff. At the end of the day, San Diego Comic-Con's getting set up right now. Might even start today, actually. I'm pretty sure the show floor might open today. There's so much cool shit I saw online. It seems like people are having a great time already. There's very interesting reveals from Marvel Studios. The Witches of Latveria, first look at the Sentinel head, which looks really cool. So there's all sorts of things to be excited about. It's all sorts of stuff to get hyped about. So we don't need to, get all triggered and try to trigger Josh today. You know what I mean? And we're streaming today. We're streaming tomorrow, and we're streaming Saturday, baby. Saturday night for the Hall H presentation of Marvel Studios. I'm really excited. I actually do believe that we're likely to get that second trailer. I think the leaks we went over yesterday are potentially real. Maybe not, but I don't know. They kind of line up with some things. You got $500 on no stream tomorrow. That's an easy 500. I just stream tomorrow and I get $500. Are you kidding me? I'm down. Wait, are you tricking me? What's happening here? Now I'm not streaming tomorrow. Josh, some mobsters gave me an experimental body wash to cure my staph infection. What could go wrong? I'll be fine. Well, what if I told you, and hashtag not financial advice, don't sue me, I'm not a doctor. But what if I told you I trusted actual mobsters more than most doctors, government officials, senators, House of Representatives, presidents, authority figures of all sorts? I would never say that, but what if I did? Maybe you're in good hands. What are we talking a bit today? Well, we're gonna first, I really want to talk about the San Diego Comic-Con stuff, the reveal of the witches. I want to look at what somebody brought up on Discord. I've seen a couple other people bring this up too. There are reasons to believe that the person in the post-credit scene in the Fantastic Four, John, was like a follower of Doom, or potentially like not the full-ass Doctor Doom. We'll explain it in a minute here, but when you look at the mask that's on the followers, the witch that was revealed at Comic-Con, and then you look at the mask that was revealed when he's like looking at Franklin, they look pretty good. They look pretty similar. What's up with that? I don't know. So we'll go over that. I want to get into that. I also want to talk about the most insane rumor I've ever heard with regards to Spider-Man and what they might be doing with Spider-Man. It's probably not real, but I want to go over it anyway, and we can talk about it because it's insane. It's insane. The Nefarious Aquarius says, I'll take my credit. I'll give you credit. I don't even know if it was really you, but I really like that name. So now it is you, and you get the credit. Then I want to talk about something revealed about that Gambit, and how that Gambit is indeed the one from Deadpool and Wolverine, and that implies some interesting things. So want to talk about that. And otherwise, I just want to kick it with you guys, man. See if there's any questions you guys have. There's obviously a lot of things going on. Destin Daniel Crichton is making comments about Spider-Man. Tom Holland's making comments about Spider-Man. A lot. One of my favorite things I'm seeing right now on Twitter is all of, like, whenever the Spider-Man cast gets asked about Jean Grey, the reactions are absolutely amazing. They're not saying anything, but the nonverbal communication is so funny, especially if you know what's actually going on. So that's cool. And Kevin, of course, had that interview where he was talking. There's a lot of different things that we could get into today. So we'll kind of go with the flow, see what any questions you guys have about any of this stuff. And generally, man, just kind of being more excited and getting a little hyped, as it were, for San Diego Comic-Con and the reveals and everything that'll happen Saturday night. Rossi was first in today with a 5-spot. Says, we all know who's behind the mask. Say her name. Hashtag Dr. Heather Glenn with socks. Hashtag bored again. My God, this Heather thing. This Heather thing is so... Why? Do I have to become a fan of Heather so that you guys will drop it? Can I use some reverse psychology? Andrew Miller says, I can't wait for Fantastic Doom to be revealed as the real Doom pulling all the strings. My name of Doom. Are you talking about the guy from the one with Miles Teller? Come on, man. Come on, man. Nah, that ain't it. David Saunders Media says, hey, my guy, proud of you and excited for the hype. Thanks, man. Yeah, we're here. You know, we're here. We somehow made it through. We somehow made it through the phase 4-5 period, the Marvel fall off. A lot of different things have happened over the years. And it feels like we're finally through it and on the other side of it. You know, I dipped into the Discord a little bit yesterday, and we were just discussing how Vision Quest seems like it might actually be legit, which some people have seen some episodes. They're saying it's really hyped up. Robert Meyer Burnett was talking about it. I would assume he knows via leaks and stuff like that, some inside information, just how dope it's looking. Guys, I saw the trailer and it blew me away. You guys know me. I'm fucking over Disney Plus Marvel shows. Like I was so mad about what those did to the brand. I was so mad that they released 8 projects last year, and a lot of them were Disney Plus things, and I was just like, oh, like, what are we doing here? And yet you put that Vision Quest trailer in front of my face, it looks really interesting and good, and I think it might actually connect to Doomsday. That's interesting to me. Out of nowhere, we might actually have another Disney Plus banger. If it could be close to Loki level, you know, some of the better episodes of WandaVision, because WandaVision to me was great, but like ultimately unfulfilled. I really didn't like the finale. That was the beginning, by the way. I don't know how many of you were there, but me not liking the WandaVision finale was the beginning of what would basically become a whole bunch of my own community and fans getting really fucking mad at me, some of them even leaving the community, and then eventually a year and a half later coming back and being like, damn, now I hate Marvel even more than you, you know? That was such an interesting moment. How many of you guys were there for that? Because, like, dude, you gotta understand, like, at the time we were vibing, like, the channel was like crushing it. You know, those episodes, it was during lockdown, so there's so many people watching our watch parties and our breakdowns, and we were just vibing. And then all of a sudden the finale came out, and I was like, I don't like it, and I couldn't let it go. You know, I can't let shit go usually, so I very much dwelled on all the things I didn't like about it. Anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent, but look, the point I'm trying to make is I think Marvel might actually be back. I know I kind of keep saying this, and it's, you know, totally fair to be skeptic of it, but imagine a year in which Spider-Man's dope as fuck. Looks like that's going to happen next week, baby. Oh, I'm so excited. Doomsday seems to be able to deliver. I mean, I think even if Doomsday has like a pretty wafer thin plot and it just has these characters together and they're fucking shit up, I think a lot of people are going to be like down, frankly. You know, I know there's going to be some people that are like, it's not high art enough for me. Oh, forgive me. I want to smell my own fart, you know. There's going to be people like that. There always will be. But at the end of the day, if Doomsday delivers just on that, I think it's going to be fine and a very successful movie. And then all of a sudden, X-Men 97 Season 2, very good. I'm behind, by the way. I'm behind on those episodes, but it's great. And what if Vision Quest comes out and actually slaps? Dude, then it's like, this is like what they should have done. You know what I mean? Like, this should have happened a while ago. But credit where credit is due. It feels like they're kind of rounding the corner and they're actually figuring this shit out. And if the next show, because I think the next batch of shows they do on Disney Plus are incredibly important. You know what I mean? And you know, especially if they do some X-Men, young X-Men in the mansion and all that, right? Dude, you really got to nail that. And you got to, like, I know it's obviously hard. I mean, look how badly James Gunn is fucking it all up, right? I mean, it's obviously a hard job, but Marvel has the capacity, the characters, and the cachet to make this work. You need very talented people that still really give a fuck about the material to come in and do something magical. That's really what it is, you know? And if they can just continue to do that, which is a skill, it's a fucking skill to be able to do that, to recognize the right people, put them in place, arm them with a fully operational creative department, all these things. It's a skill to be able to pull that together. And it seems to be, knock on wood, it seems to be coming together in a really cool way for Marvel, and I'm pretty excited about it. Agatha was underrated. Yeah, Agatha's great. Like, the thing is, like, I would literally go as far as to say Agatha was great. That episode 7 in Agatha, some of the tightest. I like time travel shit. I love like loops in shows and shit like that. You know, I love Primer. If you've ever seen it, it's like an incredible time travel movie. What's the one that Ryan did? Looper. Looper's great, dude. The writing in episode 7 of Agatha is some of the best time travel writing I've ever seen. It's so complex. It's so good. It's really good. I think the only problem with Agatha is like we're just beat down. We're just fucking beat down. There's not enough people that knew it would matter or that it was different than all the other ones. How do you differentiate? You know what I mean? How do you differentiate between the studio that gave you Echo, which had some promise, like it had some things, and then it has one of the worst fucking finales I've ever seen in my life? They consolidate it, cut it up, chop, like throw it out. How do you differentiate between the first season of Daredevil, which I thought was really bad, guys, and then know that Agatha's actually going to be good and slap? Dude, like, I don't blame people at all for being like, fuck Agatha or whatever. But at the end of the day, it was a really good show. If the only way to turn it around, and this is why I think, looking back at last year from Marvel, it's really kind of admirable. Of course, I'm going to say this, right? I'm a Feige Glazer. I'm a Marvel fan, you know, so just consider that and consider the source and everything like that. But I think I do have a point here, and that's that if you look at the movies last year, yes, Captain America was terrible. I think it's the best version of that pile of crap that there was. So they did everything they could to try to make it enjoyable, and it wasn't. I mean, for me, some people enjoyed it, but really, But Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four do this really interesting things where they truly do feel like sort of old MCU. Thunderbolts especially, like, I really like that movie. I love Bucky in that movie. I love how the past plays a role in it. It's all focused on Avengers Tower. It really feels MCU in the sense that it's really lived in, you know? And Fantastic Four I thought was great. Like, I thought it was great. And you almost see this thing where they know they can't outrun the reputation of the years of the fall off. And so the only way you can win back that trust and build back, you know, the rep, because the brand used to mean quality in a sense. So the only way you do that is like you just make it as good as possible, put it out, understand that the reach that it has could be diminished because of lingering feelings that were created by bad brand decisions. So at the end of the day, like, you just make solid stuff, accept that it might not soar the way your shit used to, and you build back that reputation slowly, you know? And I don't know, I think it could work. Like, I think it could legitimately work because there's a sort of recursive thing that happens too, where as people get excited for Doomsday, right? Which that's clearly happening now in a way that it wasn't a week ago, a month ago, or whatever. As people get into it, they will revisit things. And I think because the Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four are so integral to this story and plot, people will likely visit those movies. And again, what's the deal with those movies? Well, they're really solid, dude. Like, they're really, really good. So I respect the process. It feels like it has a good perspective on what's happening and the sort of, you know, the things are being put into place that I think could actually turn it around. Rossi says, I just wanted to say I love the new lighting and particles on stream. No jokes. It looks good. A neon sign behind you would look dope as well. Hey, thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think we're looking a little bit more professional these days. Maybe if I stop swearing and getting so triggered about Heather and James Gunn and all the rest, we'd live up to the look of the thing. But hey, some things are easier than others. Appreciate you, though. Thank you. He said it was a part of the story he couldn't say after he confirmed the Spider-Man Wolverine scene. Who said what? Oh, Nerderotic confirmed RDJ's coming back as Iron Man after Secret Wars. Yeah. Yep, that's true. I don't know what to... I mean, I've been saying that, like, for a while. I guess I technically didn't think it would be RDJ. There's a big moment where I thought it would be, like, somebody else. Like, this was the way to recast Tony. But yeah, no, Tony's back, yeah. Should we talk about that first, since you brought it up? Should we go with the wind, like Pocahontas? and get all into that? Did you hear Kevin Feige has a plan for Marvel through 2042? If you stop raging, I will stop watching. Wait, what? Well, what if I got? Let's just try it like this. Let me just try to be like really chill. Let's just bring it down and see if this could still be enjoyable for you. Okay. Should we talk about Tony Stark and RDJ remaining as Tony Stark after the Secret Wars movie? What say you, chat? Shall we discuss with peace and tranquility how lovely it will be for Roberts of the Downeys Jr. to return as Tony Stark in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? What questions do you have, chat? Be sure to word them as peacefully as possible. Yeah, you're right. We can't do that shit. We can't do that shit. I just gotta be me. I gotta be me. Anyway, relax your face. Oh my God. Remember when that guy said that? Oh God. You skipped my member chat and now talking like this. Ah, all right, Ross. All right, hang on. Let me catch up on some chats here then. Johnny Venerable, what a name, says, can't believe some of you fools are begging for Clayface covers. Somebody get these beggars out of here. Yeah, what's up with that? What's up with that? What do you guys need? Clayface people. Like, what's your deal? What do you need? Do you just want to be seen? Maybe Zen Josh should come back and try to help these Clayface people. You know, how what do you need? What to the Clayface fans? The question is, what kind of trauma have you suffered that such a ridiculous movie becomes the North Star of your comic book movie enjoyment? Yeah, I don't think I don't give a I'm not that interested in Clayface. We'll put it that way. Thanks, brother. Rossi says, Josh, some mobsters. Oh, yeah, we didn't even know that. Zach Tech says, what do you think will be you want as a big reveal at SDCC? Some of the cameos would be great. The reveals for the cameos would be fun. Like, I don't know. Do you think they would admit, because they just did another interview with Halle Berry and Storm, right? Or no, is that an old interview that picked up? I'm not sure. But there's like an interview with Halle Berry where she's, potentially teasing or they're teasing that she's back. Would they ever do that? Or are they going to keep that stuff really, really closed off? Hey, by the way, let me just double check something real quick. So I want to see something real quick here. Ooh, okay. So, man. Okay. How do I say this? There's a strong possibility that there were indeed crazy top secret reshoots. And it's possible some of that is starting to leak out. Okay. And I'll tell you one thing that's kind of leaking out there that is very hard to place within the current leaks, which I think is being done intentionally. Again, I'm sort of on this train, man, and I could be totally wrong. I could look like such a gigantic idiot, right? But I'm sort of on this train that, like, the Jean Grey Sadie Sink thing, that's not the only thing Marvel's hiding with such focus and sophistication, okay? One of the things that's currently leaking out, we don't know if it's real or not, but apparently Steve Rogers will indeed have a Captain America suit or uniform for a part of this movie. Okay. Now, in a totally unrelated note, I was told like 6, maybe 9 months ago that you would actually get Iron Man and Steve Rogers, both in the outfits or the suits or the costumes that they wore in Avengers 1. And I can't explain too much more of that. Maybe I can now, actually, if I thought about it. Okay, but the thing is, it's also possible these are just toys. And it's also like, how do I explain this? So what I don't know is this just something being done that's like, hey, Avengers Doomsday, remember Avengers 1? And then we have an Avengers 1 thing with Doomsday that's connected to the movie for merchandising and things of that nature? Or is there something else going on? Have they truly hidden some absolutely remarkable reveals, including Steve Rogers actually wearing a suit and an outfit? Wouldn't that be interesting? Who knows? Only the Oracle, I guess. Rossi says, UB Chill is about as cool as Star Wars. Wait, what? All right. Ross says, been out of the loop in Jamaica for the past few weeks. Dude, lucky. Ready for Spooder, man. Odyssey was dope. Album launch party in LA is Saturday. Any SoCal Avengers? Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, if you're a SoCal Avenger, if you're in the area, Ross is doing an album launch party Saturday night. That's probably going to be dope. That's also San Diego Comic-Con night, so make sure you try to pop into the stream if you can. Rossi says that would sound a lot like Josh. Yeah, totally. I sent a $5 super. Oh, right. Yeah, the Heather super. You really got to make sure that I get that, huh? Is X-23 in this movie? I hope so. Because Daphne Keane is so talented. Especially if you follow her Instagram, you can just see how much talent she has. So talented. VTJ Production says, Ralph Boner started the hate train. Yeah, he did, that motherfucker. Cause says, first stream I've made in a while. Love the new setup. Oh, happy to have you back, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're trying to make some moves. Trying to do some upgrades because Marvel might actually be back. I bet the farm that Marvel's gonna be back and that the everyone's gonna get into Warhammer as well. And also, do I have a stray hair? Hang on. Do I have a stray? I do. What's this stray hair doing here? No, it's gonna bother me because of my ADD. Ah! Ah! It won't move. Look at it. It's an alien hair. Okay, we got it. Don't worry. Relax. Everybody, relax. Don't mind my neurodivergence. It's just a part of the charm. Rossi says, just wanted to say I love the new lighting and yeah, fine. No, I appreciate it. Andrew says, Diamond Club sup. Killian is the real Doom. Dream walked into Tony following the snap. Love it, but no. Love that idea, but no. OMG89 says, I'm not happy. As much as I love RDJ brought to Tony rendition is not the Tony I want. I want the serious asshole who's kind of a fuck up. Interesting. Yeah. So here's something, like, I guess what I would say is there's actually some, like, that argument has some weight in the sense that Tony has essentially arced out. It would be difficult to do a lot of interesting things with him after that. But then again, there's potentially the whole idea that he's Victor Von Doom by birth that he's having to sort of cope with. And that is interesting. Like, imagine you come back to life, right? And you're like, oh, like my family and everything, but the world's changed. Not only has the world changed, you've learned something about yourself. You've changed. That could be potentially pretty interesting, actually. And also, too, I doubt they're going to use our DJ Stark, like, a lot. Like, he'll be a fixture and potentially be in some bigger movies and whatnot. But he cost $50 million a pop. You know what I mean? So, like, I doubt every film in the X-Men saga is going to be, have Tony, right? Because that's like a 50, basically just add 50 million to each movie that he's in, unless they figure out some kind of other arrangement. But yeah, no, I understand. Cassio Prince says, Josh, I always vote no on whether I smash the like button, even though I always smash like. I don't know how to feel about that. I'm a bit conflicted. But thank you for your honesty. Moon Knight says, Clayface gave me Morbius vibes. What's the point? Look, I'll tell you this. I actually think there is a great point to Clayface, and I think there's a reasonable, like, idea or notion to follow to make that. I mean, horror is popping off right now. Horror is also fiscally responsible. It seems to be able to make money in the theaters. And also Mike Flanagan, who, by the way, did they put Flanagan's name on the marketing a lot? Because I know there were like rumors of rewrites and shit like that. But like, did Flanagan? Does like the trailer say like from the mind of Mike Flanagan? If you're a Flana fan, you're gonna love it, or some shit like that. Does it? I actually think there's nothing wrong with Clayface on its own. The problem with Clayface for me is the context. The DCU is straight garbage. Supergirl just flopped like worse than Halle Berry's Catwoman. You know, the Creature Commando shit, like nobody watched that. Peacemaker 2, like nobody watched that. So what even is the DCU? Lanterns look like it's not really going to connect with a lot of people. So my problem with Clayface is not Clayface. My problem with Clayface is it's the next offering in a shared universe that I think is terrible. And Clayface is not enough to like overcome. Do you see what I'm saying? Flana fan? Yeah, I forget where I heard that, but there's some people really like Mike Flanagan for sure. It's over. Guys, did they put the Flanagan? Are they promoting it using Flanagan's name or no? Yeah, plus no Batman. That's a tough sell, brother. That's a tough sell. DC equal don't care. Yeah, but you know what's ironic is, again, and I've made this point a million times at this point, but DC's killing it in the comics, man. The Absolute Universe is great. The Iron Studios statues at San Diego Comic-Con for Absolute Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman are like, oh my God, dude, they look great. So it's weird. Like, it's almost like we're living in a tale of two DCs. You know, really don't think Gunn's shit is going well. And, you know, maybe he can turn it around. Like, yo, by the way, not to get into the weeds on this, but I'll make this point, and then I'm gonna go use the restroom. Then let's come back, do a full ass segment on Iron Man, and then we'll get into more topics. We're gonna chill today. We're gonna take it slow. We got a lot to get into. We're gonna chill. They took Flanagan off the marketing, so like, look, this is James Gunn's fault. Again, because he was yapping about how important it was that Flanagan was involved or whatever, and then he tried to smash the reports with, I think Jeff had, that they switched writers. If they're really not even using Flanagan's name to promote the thing, then there has to be a reason why. And it's just like, Gunn, if you just wouldn't, like, if you would just not talk as much, you wouldn't have your foot in your mouth so much. And I really think a lot of fans are over it at this point. I even saw this thing yesterday where Chris from 3C Films, who's like the fucking nicest, like most loving, lovable guy. Like, there's a reason Chris is in the position that he's in. And I think he is very intelligent. He speaks with a lot of nuance and care. You know, he's a goofball and he has fun too. But dude, like, he just said like one little thing in a video about how Gunn is talking a lot, promising all this stuff, super active on social media, and yet he didn't hold the L for Supergirl at all. And Chris was just saying, like, it's kind of refreshing to hear Kevin come out and say, I feel like a loser for not getting Blade off of the ground. And it's true. Like, there's something humanizing about that, man. Humility is, like, it's useful, you know? And, you know, look, like, you can clown on Feige or whatever, and a lot of people do, but the reality is Kevin does not speak a lot on social media. When he's in interviews and when he comes out, he speaks and it seems to like matter and be authentic. And Gunn just doesn't have that, you know? And again, Chris was so nice about it. And you know what the DC fans did? Do you know what James Gunn's little bitches did, as Grace Randolph would say? They tried to drag Chris or make it seem like Chris was being like completely out of pocket. They couldn't even handle big content creator with a ton of nuance and care making one point about one thing that Gunn might be doing incorrectly, And it just really shows you that, like, that entire, not that entire fan base, but a super dedicated portion of Gunn's fans are babies. They are little babies that almost anything that could be considered criticism of Gunn seems to hit a serious nerve with them, you know? And look, I mean, I know what that's like. I get death threats from some of these losers, you know what I mean? I think it's funny, but maybe it's not, you know what I mean? And, you know, they try to, it's just like, it reminds me a little bit of Star Wars in the sense that I think Kathy, and some people disagree with me about this. Like, I remember I had a conversation with Eckhart's Ladder, not to like put our business out there or whatever, because I love Eck, man. And he's given me great advice in the past. I think he's a great dude. And one of the things I really respect about Eck is that he and I see things super differently, but he's charitable enough to assume of me that I've come to my conclusions through an actual epistemology and like actually putting logic together. And I am coming to the thing in good faith, right? But I remember, like, because Eck doesn't even agree with me about this, and that's okay. But I feel very strongly that Kathy created a very toxic culture with Lucasfilm, and the sort of license that was tacitly given for employees of Lucasfilm, or even sort of second tier employees of Lucasfilm, to come out there and, like, you know, trash Star Wars fans or say that they were sexist or phobes or whatever, and to basically like allow that to just run amok, really did create a lot of resentment from a whole bunch of different fans within the Star Wars community towards Kathy and towards Star Wars. And that's like legitimately her fault. She legitimately did that. And maybe it's more of a sin of inaction, where like she wasn't adult enough to step up and say, look, we're clearly going through somewhat of a Gilded Age division on social media, and therefore we need to be kind of more careful with how we interact with the fandom. She wouldn't even do that. She just like felt like they had license to do it because they were on some arbitrary, they were on the right side of some arbitrary line of morality, right? And I can't even like begin to tell you how mixed up that is. That's not it, especially if you're telling stories for a 4-quadrant IP, right? But yeah, she really did that. Gunn is doing that, but in, you know, his own toxic way. He's just like an asshole, and a lot of people are over it, and a lot of people that want to be very nice about it, that still want to give him the benefit of the doubt, I think, like Chris, are getting more comfortable just saying what's true. Like, does that make sense? So anyway, yeah, I saw that going on, and I was just like, man, like what a stupid thing. But it also just shows you exactly who a lot of those DCU fans are, man. Just really, really immature. And that's fine, because like I'm immature too. Fuck it. But it is what it is. Zinni says with a 10 spot, Kevin announced plans for Miles in the MCU. I don't know about that, since he can't even get a Blade movie off the ground. Not to mention all new, all different stuff they did at Endgame flopped hard. Yeah, I think you have every right to be skeptic of that, man. But I think they could actually do Miles. Oh God, sorry, I'm such a pig. What did I eat? Yeah, no, I totally understand it, man. I'm not even going to engage in like the you know, sort of like the energy behind what you're saying, because at the end of the day, like, it's fair. And also, fans are passionate. You know what I mean? So like, are you a Miles Morales fan, Zinni? Because like, are you coming from the perspective of like, oh, so now this Hat Man's talking about Miles. Well, guess what, son? You fucked up all this shit. So I'm entering the theater arms crossed. Because if that's what you're saying, fair play. That is exactly what you have earned as being a fan. Fans do have an ownership of this thing in a sense, right? It's kind of like I saw Matt Smith make some comments about this recently. He's asked about how the fans view House of the Dragon and what he thinks about that. Man, I thought his comments were on point. He's like, no, it is about them. It's for them. They're the final judge, and all we can do is just hope that they like it and listen when they don't. And I'm like, damn, dog, like, where's that energy? You know, from more of the folks that control the IP. But yeah, I totally get it, man. Totally get it. Mikey Snow says, I know you're not big into horror, but I finally watched Obsession. Indy is a fantastic actress. I need her in the MCU. Yeah, she seems good. Again, like you said, I'm just super not into it. I'll probably never put that in front of my eyeballs. But yeah, you co-signed her, huh? I mean, I think she's pretty. Ader Chase with 5 gifted memberships. Holy man, that's very generous. Thank you. Thank you very much. Rossi says, I tagged you in the den and sent a DM to you. Yeah, that sounds terrible. That sounds like the weather person telling me that the weather's going to be ass. But thank you. Moon Knight says, us fans want Ben Affleck, Daredevil, and Doomsday. I do want Ben Affleck, Daredevil, and Doomsday. I do. Do you guys want Ben Affleck, Daredevil, and Doomsday? I don't think he is, but maybe he is. Maybe he is, man. Yeah. Okay, OMG89 with a 5 spot says, with that said, there's more Iron Man baddies I want to see, like Madam Mask, Ezekiel Stain, and more Justin Hammer. Yeah, 100%. Let me catch up on chats. Let me go to the bathroom real quick, and then we'll get into the topics. We'll get into the Iron Man stuff. It seems like a lot of people want to talk about the Iron Man stuff. I'm all about it. We can talk Iron Man. Never Lose Your Nerd says, not a gun fan, but love Clayface as a villain. Fair play to you. Cosmic Path says, hey, Josh, do you like the thought of a Game of World series on Disney Plus, a series that would focus on different variants of Marvel heroes during the Incursion events? I mean, hell yeah, that sounds awesome, but it would have to be basically created already, right? So I don't know. I think that essentially the end of the Multiverse Saga was so shaky and had to be so consolidated from their perspective, they couldn't even get the Nomad show off the ground. They wanted to do a Nomad show with Chris Evans that would lead into Doomsday where he puts the stones back. Can you imagine? You want to talk about set up? That would have been amazing. And they couldn't figure it out. So I doubt they figured something like that out, but hell yeah, that'd be great. Let's see. Elijah says, anytime someone mentions DC, try to keep attention on it because they're starving. It's like, get these beggars out of here. Yeah, people, you guys love that line, huh? That's cool. Photo by Michael. Appreciate you, dude. 72 months. Thank you very much, sir. Says, love the look of everything. Cam is fine. Looking good, brother. Hey, appreciate it, man. Thank you. John Johnson says, the force is female. Heather, probably. Yeah, totally. Landon says, DCU. More like DC Snooze Fest. Am I right? Yeah, you right. Okay, CC Black says, Jenna from Phase Zero is one of those gun defenders. I'm about to stop watching Brandon Davis content when she's on Real Rejects too. Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, brother, you got to protect your personal peace. And if that's something that's triggering you, you know, you can definitely avoid it. I would also say not to play therapist, right? Not to play therapist. But if you ever look into like projecting or, you know, if you've ever heard of like shadow work or something, it's usually the case that if something is really, really triggering you, and this only applies to you guys, it doesn't apply to myself. I'm never going to be self-referential with this, but, if something really triggers you, it's usually a projection of something about yourself that really triggers you. Otherwise, you wouldn't get as triggered. But that's kind of like for you to explore, right? As far as Jenna's concerned, I think she's just a big fan. And I think Gunn's also been personally nice to her, right? And so it's hard to be mean or even critical to somebody that's been nice to you or whatever. But like, you know, whatever. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, yeah, it sucks. Either stop watching or watch with the understanding that that is what it is and that it bothers you. Look, let me ask you guys a question. Do you think there's anybody out there that watches people on the internet that might not like the way I talk about James Gunn? You know, you've got Jenna and you got the Real Rejects, and they really like Gunn, and it's bothering some people. Is it possible that the way that I am anti-Gunn, somewhat antithetical to the way that Jenna and Real Rejects are, is it possible that people are also bothered by that? Yeah. So Midnight Love Select says, Josh bothers me, but I still watch him. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? There you go. Maybe there's a lesson in there. What if we all cut each other a little bit of a break? Except for Gunn. He gets no breaks. But what if we all cut each other a little bit of slack? I don't know. Pause the stream. I got to use the restroom. Well, I got to go use the restroom too. My time to shine. Hello. Confirming new Doomsday finale on Twitter. Is she really? Ain't no fucking way. Why y'all do this while I'm live? I feel like you're doing this on purpose. Why are you guys dropping all this shit when I'm live? I have a plan. I already have topics. I wrote things down. And now I got to talk about Iron Man and Gary, and then I got to talk about My Time to Shine Hello and freaking new Doomsday finale. By the way, out of curiosity, was there anybody in the scooping community or the fandom that told you they might change the ending? Was there anyone out there that said, "Oh, hey, here's what all the scoopers are saying the ending is now, but I actually think it's going to be different," and they wrote it specifically so that it can be different and changed in such a way as to throw us off the scent? Was there anybody out there that was saying something like that? Like, I don't know. Was there maybe like, was there anybody maybe saying that there was a strong possibility of something like that happening? Nope. Yeah, definitely not. This is shocking. Okay, what have I missed? Oh, you missed me going to the bathroom now. Now I go bathroom. You went bathroom, now I go bathroom. Check this out. While I go bathroom. This is the awesome scene where Gambit's slamming that shit on the ground. But also, that is the same Gambit as Deadpool and Wolverine, according to Cryptic HD Quality. What do you think about that? Fight about it. Fight about it in the comments. In the chat. So you know what this means, right? If this is indeed the Gambit from Deadpool and Wolverine, which I believe it, I believe Cryptic. So what that means is he was also recruited to work for that X-Men universe. That's what it seems like. Deadpool, Wolverine, and Gambit, maybe X-23 as well. They got recruited, and they're forced to work for that X-Men universe as they destroy other worlds and shit. That's apparently what's going on. That's so crazy, dude. Like, that's really wild. I can't believe that's going to be in the movie. I'm excited for it. Okay, let us discuss the Tony Stark thing. Let us discuss DOS Tony Stark thing. Okay, so we got to talk about the character of Tony Stark, the actor known as Roberts of the Downey Jr., and how he is absolutely coming back to the MCU in the role of Tony Stark. I got to tell you a couple of different things. First of all, I think he is in Doomsday. Second of all, he's definitely in Secret Wars. Third of all, my theory is probably 100% true, meaning that Tony in the Infinity, or I guess the Sacred Timeline, which is a recreated version of some other timeline that we have no idea what it was actually a Victor Von Doom variant that was adopted by the Starks that we followed throughout the entire Infinity Saga, thinking he was Tony Stark, and not until that scene in the elevator where he asks his father how far along his mother is, and he gives a look of confusion as he realizes that the baby that his mom is pregnant with could not possibly be him. And there are a lot of other reasons and things that sort of explain that. But the point is this. Most of us believed, basically from Jump Street, that Tony Stark would be back. Even in the interview where he sits down with Joe Rogan, and I've analyzed that interview quite a bit, especially the section where they talk about Tony coming back. Downey kind of almost lets it slip that there's going to be a 4-year break. He sort of unprompted says, like, in our culture, we, sort of say you can't take breaks, or if you've got this thing, like, just keep going or whatever. And then he sort of, like, goes into this sort of floaty thought where he's like, yeah, and it's like, okay, well, what if I do take this 4-year break? It's so scary. And it's like, oh, well, he's pulling from something in his actual memory here. I think there was supposed to be a 4-year break. And then you remember that according to Charles Murphy, Secret Wars was originally supposed to come out in 2024, which would have been that nice, clean 4-year break without Tony Stark. He was always going to come back, guys. By the way, I think this Doctor Doom thing with him coming back was always on the table as well. And I've done a lot of content and a lot of deep diving to explain why. The basics, the TLDR, I guess, of it, if you want to go back and watch some of those other streams and videos, you can dig in. But essentially, Marvel just plans way ahead. I mean, Feige literally just said today that they have plans for characters and stories up until 2042. That's like 15 more years, guys. Okay? So he's 15 more years of stories. But you don't think 5 years ago, 10 years ago, they had 15 years of stories planned as well? Like, of course they did. You know what I mean? Like, of course they did. So Tony was always coming back. And he was always going to be an evil version 2 or Doom. That's a little like, what version were they going to land on? But it was a concept that had been in there for a long time. So now we're starting to get actual other scoopers, insiders, and people to sort of confirm what I've independently confirmed behind the scenes, but also just always thought was what was going to happen. And that is that Downey's coming back. So there was a leak a couple of weeks ago for Secret Wars. Pretty confident that leak was real. Pretty confident that leak comes from My Time to Shine Hello. Okay, that made a sock puppet account that tried to put that leak out. And also, too, like, it's so weird to me that, like, Shine and Gary keep confirming each other's scoops. There's something there. I don't know exactly what it is, but there's some weird connection between those two figures as well. So you have, like, this rando put out this plot leak for Secret Wars, which seems oddly accurate. My Time to Shine Hello starts confirming aspects of that leak from the rando independently, like, little by little. And it just, like, we take a step back and you're like, yeah, like, obviously that was Shine, or that leak is real and just everybody behind the scenes knows it. And so now Gary is saying that from multiple sources he can confirm that RDJ is coming back as Tony Stark. Yeah, totally real. 100%. And there's really two basic ways to think of this. On the one hand, you could say, oh, well, that's ridiculous. That undoes his death. Yeah, it does. And also, they're desperate, or also, like, you could basically take, like, the sort of negative lensing on it. It's really just one or the two, or a combination of both. You're either going to be negative about this, or you're going to be positive about this. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the negatives. Let's talk negatives first, and then let's talk potential positives, okay? So the negatives would be, it does somewhat undo Endgame, the ending of Endgame, in that massive sacrifice. Okay. And if that's something that you really, really care about, totally. Like, there's just no way around it. They are going to diminish what that was and what it actually means. I think the other reason to be sort of negative about it is, like, look, we love Downey as Iron Man. And actually this just popped in my head very randomly. But, a lot of people say, like, Tom Holland was recently asked about the characters you would never recast, or would you just, like, why would you recast them? And he talked about Iron Man, and he also talked about Hugh Jackman Wolverine, which is interesting, right? But there's a flip side to that. I think the flip side is, well, we're just not going to get a new take. Some like new takes or a new actor coming into a role could just be magic. And there's an alchemy that happens there, right? And, like, Sadie Sink's Jean Grey is a great example. I mean, I really think she's going to cook. I like the genes that have come before. I got a feeling Sadie's going to cook in a way that will make her like essentially the quintessential Jean. And by Downey returning to this role, he somewhat cuts off the possibility of that happening for another actor, at least in the relative future, right? And that's kind of a bummer. You know, also too, I think, and this is kind of funny, but like, there's also this thing where maybe you're just over Downey. You know, maybe you're just like, oh, it's just Downeyland again and all that sort of stuff. And maybe you don't like that and you want it to expand and go in all these other directions. So I think that's totally fair. Chat, I'll throw you a bone here because you guys are here as well. What other negative aspects of this do you see? Right? And then I'll get into some of the positives because I feel positive on it. But what are some of the other negative aspects that you guys see with this, right? So the leaks are real and bad for what? Secret Wars? I actually don't think those leaks are bad. What I think it is the person that is leaking them is trying to explain them in the most uncharitable way possible, which is another thing that Gary and My Time to Shine have in common. They seem to both try to frame every piece of information with regards to Marvel Studios that's coming out in the most negative way possible. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, I actually don't think they're bad. I've thought a lot about them. I had a somewhat confused and negative reaction when I first heard them, but the more I thought about them, I was like, yo, this could actually be really interesting. Oh, I kind of like the subtext of what they could be saying here. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I don't think they're negative. But what could be bad about Downey coming back, man? What do you think? What are the other things that's sort of negative about it? We don't get a chance to see a younger Tony Stark. Yeah, that's totally fair. Would a younger Tony Stark actually make sense within the context of everything else they're doing in the MCU? I'm not so sure, but you're right. We wouldn't get a younger one. Yeah. Money. Yeah, that's probably a legitimate concern. He costs so much. He costs so much, and it's not like he's going to do it for charity. And by all rights, he shouldn't. You know what I mean? When you get to that level, demand what you're worth. Till he's 90. Yeah, so I think a lot of us see some negative aspects to him coming back. It sort of cuts off possibilities. Yeah, the money thing. Yeah. But is that it, really? Is that really it? Is that really it? Because I got to tell you, I think the positives far outweigh the negatives. But what do you guys think? JBK says, are those armor wars with Tony Stark rumors true? I don't think so, brother. I think I vaguely saw those and I disregarded them. They could be real, but I don't know for sure. I didn't look at them all that because I think they came from terrible people, terrible scoopers. What about Doom? Yeah. I think people are just blinded by how bad the MCU has been in the past few years. To bring him back just feels not authentic. That's a great point. That's like a really good point. It's probably the case that people are just down on Marvel. It's probably the case that people are just skeptic of Marvel's ability to actually turn this shit around. And therefore, we're sort of letting that overshadow this decision. And it kind of just feels like it's feeling bad. You know, I think, and even the Doom thing, I think there's just, it's hard to sort of outrun the perception that it's a break glass in case of emergency situation. It's hard to outrun the comparison to like Palpatine and Rise of Skywalker and things of that nature, right? And I think that's totally fair. Like, there's a reason people are skeptic of that, okay? All right. Yeah, I want a different characterization of Tony. No more, no less. Totally get it. May I? It contradicts your Doom theory if he comes back as Tony, then he was Doom before. So it doesn't contradict the theory. And in fact, it actually very much aligns with what I think Marvel's really going to do with this whole thing in Secret Wars. And I'll quickly explain that, and then I want to get into the positives of this, okay? They're basically going to put the multiverse back almost exactly the way that it was, okay? Now, this, by the way, is proven in a couple of different... That same Secret Wars leak that we keep talking about, it does explain that the multiverse will be reestablished. And in fact, it explains that RDJ as Doctor Doom is going to go back to the 828 universe. Crazy. Or maybe it says his universe, and we assumed they meant 828. But either way, it's like, okay, we do all this shit. It's the perfect opportunity for like a reboot, and yet you're still going to keep the multiverse around. You're going to have Tony on 616. Deadpool and Wolverine are going to go back to their universe. Reed Richards and Doctor Doom are going to go back to their universe. Well, what the hell? I thought they were all in some combined shared universe thing. You know, I thought the whole idea was consolidation. And apparently the idea is consolidation. But I think because if you look, he answered this in these Chinese interviews where he said that the whole idea is to have a streamlined universe so that it's easier for audiences to follow along with the story. Less threads, less complications, one singular thing. He did not say one universe. If he did, he was probably talking about like the cinematic universe, right? But you look at those comments, you look at the Secret Wars leak, and it says like things are going to go back the way it does. And then Kevin also said, if you look at Secret Wars, Hickman's Secret Wars, which I can't believe that was 10 years ago now. Can you believe that shit? I can't believe that shit. But if you look at Secret Wars, and Kevin said this, he said it gives you a great idea of what to expect from us. And after Secret Wars, there was a consolidation. They did drop some things that weren't working. Certain things were focused on, right? All New, All Different Marvel was kind of ass, but you can at least see that they were trying to like kind of focus, condense, etc. So I think Marvel's probably going to do the same thing. Now, let me talk about Tony coming back as Iron Man, okay? I got to tell you guys, like, have y'all like not watched these fucking movies? Tony is the best part of these movies. He makes every single movie he is in better, except Iron Man 3. We don't really got to talk about that shit. But he is so good. He's maybe the GOAT of one of the most iconic. Like, he might be more iconic than Wolverine, more iconic than any of the Spider Boys, more iconic than Deadpool. Sometimes these actors absolutely crush it. They're perfect for the role. And it just is what it is. Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man is the greatest asset that the Marvel Cinematic Universe had. He is a character by which so many elements of the universe and story flow through. He just won a fucking Oscar. He just showed us that he can do Eastern European accents so convincing that I want to act like I'm Eastern European now. He's the best. He's the best. And if you're telling me that I have a fork in the road, and if I go left, I have the X-Men and Sadie Sink and the new X-Men, and it's an X-Men saga, and I don't have our DJ's Doctor Doom to call them whippersnappers and to get on their nerves and to pop up in certain parts of stories and things of that nature. And then on the right, I have the new X-Men and all that, with our DJ as Iron Man there to be snarky and be involved in certain stories. I'm obviously going to pick the road on the right. And I think it's literally just as simple as that. Like, I don't think it's that complicated. These are fictional characters that we root for like they're real. There's so much kayfabe in this space. And Downey coming back is like The Rock coming back to wrestling, except that with modern advancements in technology and shit, like, we don't actually need Robert Downey Jr. to get out there and throw hands and shit. You know what I mean? It does come off desperate. Yeah, look, there's no way around that. It's going to come off desperate. It's still the right move. It's still the right move. It'll still make them more money. It's still the best thing from the universe. Like, are we being serious? Is it intellectually honest to criticize it for the perception of it being desperate above the quality that it'll bring to the universe? Y'all are fucked up, dude. Like, I'm sorry, like, you're just fucked up if that's what you're saying. Like, you're literally like, oh, it looks desperate, so therefore we're not going to accept the quality of the thing. It's fine. But you're not really in it to win it. You're just being like a snarky little pedantic bitch. You know what I mean? Alien says normies would not fuck with the recast. A recast in Iron Man would be incredibly difficult to nail. It would be incredibly difficult to nail. I'm not saying you couldn't do it, but it would almost demand a different take and a different kind of actor, which again would be like really hard to gel with what they're going to do. RDJ Doom is one of the coolest moves ever, in my opinion. I mean, I really like it too. Yeah, I really, really like it. And plus, too, like, let's consider this. Let's consider this. If the Doom Stark theory is real, right, then would it not be an entirely new thing to try to unpack and for that character to deal with? You know what I mean? You can't argue quality until you've seen the movie. No, but I can argue quality with regards to what Downey brings to the table because he was the whole thing, dude. I can argue that he brings quality as Iron Man because I saw a lot of those movies. I saw all of them, in fact. So, yeah, no, I can argue that. So, anyways, with that said, guys, obviously I have my feelings on it. I think it's actually incredible. I actually think that it's shockingly bold. And I actually think to be able to back up the money truck, to get this guy to commit back to being the role, to continue to play the thing for 5, 10, is Downey going to do 5 to 10 more years? I'll tell you, the only way Downey's going to do 5 to 10 more years is if it feels personally exciting for him. He doesn't need the money, dude. He needs the challenge. He needs the platform. He needs the ability to do what he was born to do. He was put on this earth to tap in to these other characters, to give a performance, to inspire, to bring us into a story. That is what he's here to do. And you're telling me that one of the best motherfuckers to ever do that is going to come back to my favorite universe and play one of my favorite characters. Did y'all know I like Iron Man? Do you not like Iron Man? What are we doing here? What is this conversation? Are you kidding me? Fuck yeah. Break out the champagne and cigars. Downey's back as Iron Man. That's how I'm feeling about it. With that being said, I'm open to all sorts of opinions. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about it? Would prefer Stark being a Doom variant or RDJ being a Stark variant? I prefer it my way. Zinni says, I'm Eastern European. RDJ accent is kind of ass. Well, you didn't even type that in your accent, first of all. I won't fault Americans for not being able to tell, but he can't roll the R. Tom Kane, X-Men 97 did it better. He should have just gone British. Zinni, send me in your voice. Put your voice as an Eastern European in a recording and send it to our Discord, and I'll play it in front of everybody. That way we can educate everybody on what a real Eastern European accent sounds like. And so then when you go to do that and you're not actually Eastern European and you can't act even as good as Downey, we'll laugh at you. I have laid down the gauntlet. All you have to do is just speak in your natural voice into your phone and send it to me. That's all you got to do. Should be simple enough. Also, thank you for the 10. No, I'm just kidding. He actually probably is Eastern European. I'm just giving him a hard time. Because it says Kazakistani or whatever. No, he's probably recording it right now, and it's probably something like, fuck you, Josh. This is how you roll your R's. Which would be funny, to be fair. All right, does anybody else have any stupid shit to say about this RDJ fucking Iron Man thing? I swear to God. But no, seriously, do you guys have anything else to say about it? But can his first act of Iron Man be topped, though? Isn't it cool that he wants to try? Like, isn't it cool that he wants to try? Like, are you believing some retired people that are trying to tell you that Downey's doing it for anything other than the love of the game and to perform? He has all the money in the world, dude. Like, what are we talking about here? You might think that Marvel's lost its way and that they're desperate, and maybe there's some truth in that. But RDJ? Do you understand how much money he made in making those fucking movies? Do you understand how much, like, what are we talking about here? Who are these people that are trying to say that Robert Downey Jr. would do this for any other reason than it lit the fire in his belly? Who could tell you that with a straight face? You know what I mean? Like, dude, I'm just saying, like, you could be, he's washed? He literally just won an Oscar. What are you talking about, dude? Oh my God, that's amazing. That's funny. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, this is real. Downey's coming back, and he's going to fucking crush it. Like, you kidding me? I'm so excited. You tell me 5 years from now, I might be able to watch a movie and Downey's still being Iron Man? Fuck yes. Fuck yeah. Okay, anyway, that's enough on the Iron Man stuff. That's enough of the Iron Man stuff. He just won an Oscar. He's washed. He's washed. Yeah. Okay, what's the next thing we got to talk about? I hope the homie's like recording himself right now and he's like, fuck you, Josh. This is my voice. And how dare you? Your theory's shit. Your hair is terrible. I sound like, what's that insult comic dog? What was that character's name? That was a fun character if you didn't know. 56 months of diapers and dog food. Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you. I feel like it would have been better if he just was back as Doctor Doom. That way you could have RDJ back without messing up the end game ending. Yeah, that's actually fair. I think we might have, like, here's, man, how do I say this? I'm not saying that everybody's going to like it, because clearly some of you have an issue with some things. But I actually expect Marvel to recontextualize Tony's sacrifice. And I think it's actually possible that Tony dying allowed some very bad things to happen. And that Tony coming back could be really good. And again, not everybody's going to like it. But yeah, I think that could be what it is. John Johnson says, my name is Doom, but in his voice. Okay, ready? My name Doom. Pretty good. Oh, pretty good. Pretty bad. Wait, is that pretty good? Is that pretty bad? Was it a winner? My name Doom. Yeah, it's pretty good. I need more Ultra-like movies, day-to-day Avengers shit. What? 10 out of 10? Noise. All right, what's the next thing we got to talk about? You guys are really throwing me for a loop today. There was the Iron Man thing, and then there was something else that was like, oh, yeah, let's talk about that. Sounds like the Terminator, very good. I swear to God, that one dude's probably recording some shit right now. Clayface? Bro. No. I find it very hard to believe that RDJ is coming back as Iron Man with his age and amount of money he demands. I agree that it's hard to believe, but that's what makes it awesome. Like, that's what makes it awesome to me. Like, yeah, most studios, most executive, most motherfuckers would say, we can't afford his ass. And Kevin's like, bitch, please. Yes, you can. Pay that man his money. And that's dope. Broke-ass James Gunn can't even afford to go to Comic-Con. And we're shilling out 50 mil a pop for RDJ Iron Man, and I feel fine. I sleep like a baby. Do have some anger issues. You know, we're working on it. But other than that, we're good. What was the other thing? Oh, the Doomsday ending was changed. Let's see what My Time to Nerd Erotic has to say about that shit. Interesting. How's this? About changing the ending? I don't see that at all. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, yeah, she's retweeting her other account, Blue Minutes. That's cute. That's cute. That's cute. Did you hear Lantern's first episode is almost as long as a movie? I did not hear that, actually. Did you hear that they kill Hal Jordan's Green Lantern in that episode? But don't worry, you got Clayface, you know what I mean? Hey, Hal Jordan, greatest Green Lantern there ever fucking was, dead! He's dead! But you got Clayface. And you got Maxima. All right, anyway, guys, why do you do this to me? I'm really trying to keep the blood pressure down. You know, I was having a really good day. Why do you guys do this to me? Okay. All right, let's talk about something pretty crazy, okay? And that would be the end of Avengers Doomsday. I gotta tell you, I think this is spoilers. This is coming from an account called Blue Minutes, which I wouldn't be surprised if this account started posting gambling advertisements that are the exact same ones that Daniel RPK and My Time to Shine do. Probably a completely random thing that has nothing to do with how they're all the same people or in the same group. However, it also makes me think that this account is actually legit because My Time to Shine did retweet this and say that it was real and it was insane. So let's get into this. Again, potential spoiler warning. New look at Avengers Doomsday. I heard that in the final act of movie, a massive war erupts as the Earths begin to collide. Thor tries to go toe-to-toe with Doom because he thinks that he killed Loki. But in the final battle, Loki will recruit the heroes for the final battle. Some of them are Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight, Tom Holland as Spider-Man, Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, Cassie Lang, Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Halle Berry as Storm, X-23, and many more. What? What the what? How in the hell? What in tarnation? How what? Ain't no way except I fucking called it. I fucking called it. I fucking called it. Yeah. So listen, there's a lot of stuff that they hid from this movie. They've been very clever. If this is indeed real, you know what it means? Number one, Loki fans, stop crying about it, man. You know, the leak where they go there and Loki's heart is ripped out. Maybe that's real, but maybe it wasn't really him, or maybe he has a secret double extra plan where a variant of him comes out of this, that, second, and the third. Relax. Relax. It says here that Thor goes toe-to-toe with him because he thinks that Doctor Doom killed Loki. That would mean that that old leak and the TVA thing is probably real, okay? Now, I want to tell you this. 3-4 weeks ago, when they leaked the shot of Tom Holland as Spider-Man in the Future Foundation suit, I think it was real. It was obviously AI upscaled, but I think that that was real. I think that Tom Holland... So here's what I'm saying to you is, when you go watch this movie later this year, and if you see Tom Holland in a white Spider-Man suit that is the Fantastic Four or whatever, right? Then you need to come back here and remember that I told you that shit was probably real months ago, okay? I think the third act of this movie is going to have all of these characters. And you might say like, oh, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Hugh Jackman Wolverine. Wait, they come back? Yeah. This might imply something that we didn't actually think was going on in the leaks, okay? This could also explain why Alex Perez said that Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman do not die at the beginning of the movie. Alex, by the way, has also played it super coy about the third act of the film, and he said some really interesting things when he's hinting about it, right? So it's possible that what we thought was Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man's dying in the incursion was actually them being taken by the TVA and Loki and the multiversal Avengers, or the Tobey Maguire that we see at the end of this movie and the Hugh Jackman that we see at the end of this movie are variants. Do you remember Deadpool and Wolverine? There were a ton of Hugh Jackman variants. We saw Age of Apocalypse one. We saw one with the gray suit where he's fighting against the Hulk. What if Tobey Maguire variant, maybe those leaks of Toby in the Iron Spider suit were real, but that's not going to be the Toby that we have at the beginning of the movie. I mean, that would be pretty crazy. That would be pretty insane. But I do remember leaks from people like Cryptic HD Quality where they said, you will see variants in Doomsday that are going to be exciting variants of Marvel characters you know that you will never see again. To me, that's like, you're really going crazy. That feels like that Deadpool and Wolverine thing where you do all of the different cameos for Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, right? It's a similar kind of idea. So if it's Tom Holland in the Fantastic Four suit, Future Foundation Tom Holland Spider-Man, then what version of Toby might it be? What version of Hugh Jackman might it be? Halle Berry's Storm? X-23, and many more. So guys, I want to explain, like, because this is really crazy. This is really crazy. It means that you're going to get a Doomsday that will have characters like Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman fighting for their lives in different universes. Incursions happen. They seemingly die. We're going to see that other variants of characters have died. It's down to 3 universes. The X-Men get attacked, or the Avengers go to get them. They will eventually come into the Baxter building. They all formulate this plan. At some point, they're all going to realize that Doom's the bad guy, likely connected to those other leaks when they go into the TVA and they find all the dead people, including Loki with his heart out. And then they go back, try to fight Doom. Maybe that's where the big fight happens on the X-Men world. And this would be when Doom has the Sentinels and there's a lot of different people. But I think at that point, they'll be handily defeated. Doom just leaves to go do his shit. And then they have to rally what's left. And I think that's when Loki will come back into the picture. This also gives us a whole nother opportunity to see Loki and Thor actually interacting. This gives us another opportunity to see why Thor's crying and potentially a sacrifice there. And this also just shows you that, like, literally for the last year, everybody's been on this one track of thinking when it comes to the leaks. And I kept trying to tell you guys, yes, but more. Yes, but Marvel's actually created this plot in such a way that it could hide all of these crazy things. Okay? And the main three ways that they hid leaks are via the Golden Mask individuals, the quick cameos for Incursion universes being destroyed, but also additional things like this. Here's something else that might be interesting to you. I think Iron Man is also at the end of this movie. And I think he's in his suit from Avengers 1. I think at this point in the movie, we will actually get another either version of Steve Rogers or multiple versions of Steve Rogers. And one of those versions will indeed be Cap in the outfit he wore in Avengers 1. In Avengers 1. So, what is Doomsday? Doomsday is a movie that's selling itself as Downey's back as Doom, and there's some interesting and fun things in there. But the ending of it is spectacle like we have not seen since Endgame. If this is real, and they're putting this much work into this last part of the movie with all this crazy shit, can you imagine sitting in the theater and seeing that? Like, real talk, can you imagine? Like, I'm already vibing with what Doomsday is. I'm already digging it. You know, I'm digging the Doom thing. I'm digging the X-Men. We got to go there. They're skeptic. You know, I'm digging Steve's back. Thor's clowning on the team, the squad, all of it. I'm digging it. But if this thing cracks into this movie with one of the most incredible endings I've ever seen, an army of Doom people, an army of heroes led by Loki, multiversal Avengers versus potentially Dark Avengers or Doom's Illuminati, my God. That's hype. Like, I mean, that's what it's about, dude. That's what it's about. Again, you know, take it with a grain of salt, curb your enthusiasm, etc., etc. We don't know for sure, but this sounds dope as hell. This sounds dope as hell. So, anyway, with that being said, chat, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? You want to complain about our DJ coming back as Iron Man? Or do you want to talk about how we're going to be eating so damn good? What do you think? Ghost Rider confirmed? Does it say Ghost Rider in here? I don't see Ghost Rider in here, but I would imagine Ghost Rider will probably be in there, yeah. I mean, it's got Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. Like, bro, they are cooking. Did you watch the Doomsday scene that was recreated using AI from the account? Are you talking about the X-Mansion one? Yeah, should we watch that next? We can watch that next. Midnight? Yeah, but what if it's Blade Moon Knight? I guess it says Oscar Isaac Moon Knight, though. Will they announce RDJ back as Iron Man at SDCC? Maybe. I doubt it. I think they're going to let that linger. I want new toys. I get it. I think you'll get new toys. They're called the new X-Men. Josh, RDJ Evans Hemsworth called in from the set of Doomsday for China presentation. They're still filming. Yeah, well, yeah, I think so. I mean, again, I told you, they're filming a lot right now. Fish Likes Production says, could Ghost Rider play a similar role in Doomsday that Red Skull played in Infinity War and Endgame? Maybe even as a masked dude. Missed my first super chat, by the way. My name is Doom. Sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to miss your chat. Let's see here. Ghost Rider. That would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool. I don't think it'll hit the same because he doesn't have a presence in prior Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. And the thing that really shocked us was seeing Red Skull again. And we're like, dude, what? But I like where your head's at as far as like using cool characters to do cool things. Absolutely. Absolutely, Oprah. Josh, what do you think the hot toys will drop for Doomsday this weekend at SDCC? Probably the crown jewel of the whole show will be skinny Steve Rogers with long hair and jeans. And I mean, if you can't see, like, you got all these awesome hot toys and they're all in their costumes and they got awesome outfits or sets of armor. Got Frank Castle and the War Machine stuff. And then you got Steve Rogers with long hair and jeans. Say what you will about the Moon Knight show, but Oscar's performance was pretty good. He should get a shot at coming back. I agree with that. He was good in the role, 100%. Wait, months ago, there were rumors that Doom forming his own supervillain team. What happened? Do you think we'll get Cap Hydra, Maestro Hulk, and others at the end? Some huge face-off? I think so. I think you might be onto something there. Imagine if the Russos pull that ending off. That might be the wildest thing I've seen in a movie on the screen. No, it legitimately would be the craziest shit we've seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far. It would be the most epic battle. It would be the highest stakes and also involve the most amount of variant characters and sick-ass versions of Marvel characters that we love. Like, bro, I'm all about it. I want it so bad. And I think it's real. Everything's coming up Millhouse. I'm getting exactly what I want. Oh, but wait, Robert Downey Jr.'s back as Iron Man permanently. It's desperate, so none of this is fun. We can't have fun. We can't be excited about it because Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Iron Man. Oh, my God. Bubblegut says, what if Doctor Strange doing the sign to Iron Man is just half of the equation, and when he saw Doctor Equation after Thanos, are you talking, he's like flashing gang signs? Are you saying he's flashing them gang signs or something like that? My first super was about Gambit. You should go back and read it, Mr. Josh. Well, since you called me Mr., I guess I will. Let's see here. Braden says, did you watch the Doomsday? Yeah, we did. We'll do that next. Where is your super chat, dude? Fishlack Productions. I wish you could search these. Fishlack Productions. God damn it. I should not be doing this in the middle of a segment. Fishlack Productions. I'm going to look for like 3 more seconds. And if I can't find it, I'm sorry, bud. Can't find it. Sorry. Oh, here it is. In X2, there's a list of mutants on the screen, including Remy Lebé. Could Gambit have just been pruned from 10 and he was returned there? It's possible, but you're missing... Man. No. That is the Gambit from Deadpool and Wolverine. And the reason that is the case is because Deadpool and Wolverine made $1.3 billion, and Channing Tatum as Gambit in that movie was very popular. And so, it is that Gambit. Thank you for playing. Appreciate it. To be fair, that's the ending we need. Let's go. I agree. I 100% agree. Absolutely. Didn't they say Gambit wouldn't have his accent, though? They said he wasn't going to go full Cajun in the way he did in Deadpool and Wolverine. Channing Tatum was pretty explicit about that because I think he could see immediately the concerns. It's a little goofy, in Deadpool and Wolverine. He's a little bit too comedic. And he said the Russos did not want him to go full Cajun. So... he's about to make a name for himself. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is I love those lines and they're funny, but like at the end of the day, that's not what you really need for this movie. Also, did you guys realize that this is the only Russo brothers Marvel trailer that had 0 humor and jokes in it? I don't know if you realize this, but that Doomsday trailer is the only Russo brothers Marvel movie trailer that did not have a single joke or comedic beat. Pretty interesting. Do you think we'll finally get a scene or even a mention of what the fuck happened to the Council of Kangs? Maybe, but yeah. Not a big deal. Oh, really? I think it's a big deal. Well, actually, I don't know if it's a big deal. It's just a little anecdote. Go visit New Orleans for 2 weeks. You understand Cajun. Dude, you got a better accent than that other Eastern European guy. No, I'm just kidding. Deadpool and Wolverine Steve Rogers team. What? What do you guys think about this absolutely insane ending? Like, are you not entertained? I feel like Kevin Feige is going to come out after this movie and throw his sword onto the ground and spit on it and be like, are you not entertained? Is that not why you are here? Left you a super chat, bro, says Dan Ciesler. All right, let me try to find it, Dan. Oh, Dan. Oh, Dan. Let's see. Adam says, Papa Josh, a couple of my buddies are normies. Their biggest concern is Doomsday will have a lackluster story full of cameos. Yeah, I would tell them there's a good chance of that happening and that they're being pussies because that's awesome. Dan Sazlaz 36 says, Josh, glad to be in this Doomsday ride with you, bro. Best Marvel community out there. You're the man. Can't wait for Doomsday. Thanks for all that you do. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah, Adam, you need to tell your friends to stop being such pussies. Are they going to put their pinky out? Huh? Oh, they're so sophisticated. They're worried about the fucking story in Avengers Doomsday? Who are these people? Are you sure they're your friends? Or are they people that used to be your friends? Think about it. You don't want that energy around you. Who are these people? Anyway. Yeah, I got to tell you, I think this is like absolutely shocking that the ending would be this way. But I did see it coming, and I thought that it would go super hard at the end. This is also potentially where the Dark Avengers actually do come in too, which is pretty cool. Which is pretty cool if you ask me. All right. I think I can only do one more topic, man. I'm starting to get tired. You know, I'm starting to get tired. I'm starting to get a little drained here. So I think I can do one more topic, and then we'll kick it for a little bit, and then Papa Josh gonna get out of here. The first Infinity War trailer had humor. Yeah, dude. Duh. You don't remember that one joke? Where they're like, you could say this is some kind of Infinity War. You don't remember that? I could do this all day. You're getting old. Yeah, I am old, yeah. Josh, you're the strongest chicken nugget to ever nugget. I don't know what that means, but I'll take it. Jabber Nasty says, do you think we could see any of the Horsemen X-Men? Yeah, I think that's possible. I don't know, though. That's a little less familiar than some of these other characters. You know, I think there's a chance for that maybe in the X-Men saga, but Fish-like Production says with a 10 spot, I think Gambit had his powers and was a mutant at Xavier's school in 10005, but never got to be on the X-Men team as Gambit and was pruned, which is why he was in the Void in Deadpool and Wolverine. Huh, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, I guess we never get a great explanation for like how he exists or whatever. I guess that is possible. Technically, he would have had to be pruned, yeah. Yeah. Doom Mask followers, should we talk about it? Shall we talk about it? So what do I do here? Witches, Doomsday, Latvian the witches. What the fuck? No! You whore. You whore. Okay. All right, listen, Linda. So, San Diego Comic-Con this weekend. I'm so excited. I hope you guys come by Saturday night for the big old Den of Nerds stream, breaking down all the incredible reveals from a Hall H presentation of Marvel Studios at San Diego Comic-Con. But there's already starting to be a list of interesting reveals that Marvel has put out on the show floor. This one in particular has caught the interest of a lot of Marvel fans. So what this appears to be is a Latvian witch. Okay, I'll find a better image here in a second too. But Latvian witch, this is what it looks like. The whole display, let me make sure you guys can see this. Yeah, you can see it all here. So Latvian witch and, you know, armored, green cloak, mask, looks Doctor Doom-esque. I'll never forget when Daniel RPK tried to say that there were female variants of Doctor Doom and there was going to be female Doctor Dooms in the movie, when he probably damn sure knew they were actually Latvian witches and different things that were going to be controlled by Doom in the film. Man, what a butthole that guy is, huh? So anyway, this appears to be the Latvian witches. The question is, are these the golden mask people? Because these masks look silver. You know what I mean? Like, these masks do not look golden. Or is there silver masked individuals and golden masked individuals? Is there some kind of a hierarchy here to the witches and the supporters of Doom? I'm not sure. But this seems to be real, and it seems to... I mean, it's definitely real, and it does seem to confirm some of the other plot leaks and the rumors, but again, with a lot of question marks. We don't really know what is going on here. Now, I'll tell you what I was told back in the day about these. I was told that there would be golden masked, there would be 3 females, one wearing purple, one wearing green, and one wearing either red or gold, okay? Sorry, I had to sneeze. And I was also told that in this scene, there would be other variants of Doctor Doom. One that had horns. There would be a variant of Doom that had the mask, but had the face part cut off so that they could speak. And I forget. Oh, I was also told there'd be one that had a third eye, which we're pretty sure is Doctor Strange. And we're pretty sure that code name was Boris, and he's going to do some interesting things in the film, okay? So this might just be one of the background witches. If it's not, then it's the green witch, which is likely, in my opinion, Sylvie. I think it'll be revealed to be Sylvie. I do think there will be one that's Wanda. That's like not really confirmed, but a lot of smoke there. And that'll probably be the golden or the red one. The purple one, I think, will be Clea, which is somewhat spoiled because the Doctor Strange one is the one with the third eye, and we know that Clea and Doctor Strange, after Multiverse of Madness, go to stop an incursion and are likely actually recruited by Doctor Doom, who is out there trying to stop incursions as well. So all of that's cool. All of that makes sense. However, you know what doesn't make sense? This shit. Okay? So the mask here looks an awful lot like the mask here, right? The mask here looks an awful lot like the mask here. I guess the question is, fucking why? Why? So let's think critically. Let's just like run through all of it, okay? Number one, most obvious thing, that wasn't Doom in the post-credit scene. It was one of Doom's emissaries, one of Doom's sorcerers. Okay? Explanation 2. Doom has the mask on in that scene, and for some reason is holding up one of these other masks. Doesn't really make sense. That doesn't hold a lot of water, but technically I guess possible. Another explanation is that Doom himself will use an outfit more similar to this and then eventually switch to another costume. Cryptic HD Quality said that he would have multiple costumes in the film. You start to put all this together, man, and I got to tell you, I think it's looking more and more like the Doctor Doom from the post-credit scene of the Fantastic Four is Victor Von Doom in a costume more similar to this, and that's not the Fantastic Four universe. That is a different universe with a different Sue and a different Franklin. And that is Doctor Doom coming home to the Baxter Building in that universe. That is a universe where Doom will experiment to stop the incursions. And this is a universe that will be destroyed. And I think after he is destroyed, Doom creates the second set of armor, which is the armor we see in this trailer that just came out. It's the armor we're going to see in the concept art, all the things. It's the armor we'll see in the trailer on Saturday when he's doing all the magic and shit like that. I'm telling you, I think this is what it is. So in his universe where he's with Sue and Franklin, he had a costume more similar to this. After he is scarred, after he is almost killed, he gets a different costume on, and his followers, he makes wear the mask of the original Doctor Doom, his original sorcerer's garb, his original outfit. Does that make sense? Like, that's kind of the only way I see it. And also, I think there's like a lot of reason to believe that that's what it is. And it is just so interesting because this is stuff that I don't even think is that hard to wrap your head around. You know, I mean, Cryptic said 5% of the movie is him out of the mask. Well, if that Fantastic Four scene is from Doomsday and he's out of the mask, then it belongs to that 5%. And the only way that makes sense to me is if that is connected to the scene where we will see Doom lose his family, become scarred, and build himself back up. Yeah. That's crazy, huh? That's crazy. So super cool, super cool. A lot of speculation, a lot of interesting things. But I think that this connection to the post-credit scene here, like, I just really think that's what it is. I don't have another explanation for you. Sue and Franklin were the ones in the mural. Yes. I did try to explain that. But yes. Yes. Very clever, huh? Very clever. Chat, what do you make of that? Any thoughts on that? Or is she actually reacting to something else and Marvel combined two scenes to throw us off? Totally possible, yeah. That's a man's hand. Yes. Yes, that is a man's hand. Also, they said this was Downey. So no, it wasn't Jake Schreier. Who directed the Fantastic Four movie? Why am I blanking on who directed the Fantastic Four movie? But anyway, person that directed Fantastic Four movie said that was Downey. That's Downey. Okay. Plus, the whole cape is different. The hood is different. It feels like a different material. This feels more akin to a Doctor Doom from the legit 60s, does it not? Shackman. Hey, how could I forget? How could I forget you, Shackman? I'm so sorry. Hey, Maddie! I'm sorry, Maddie. But does this not look like a Victor Von Doom straight out of the 60s? Yes, yes, yes. Quite an interesting thing to be revealed via the masks, via the Latvian witches. Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. Yeah, bigger hood. Yeah, totally. It's very different. Chat, what do you think, man? Shackman crushed it. He did. He did. Shackman's great. So I just looked it up, and the carpet and the steps of the Baxter building during the movie were blue. This is orange in the post-credit scene. For real? How do we all miss that? Let's take credit for it and don't give any credit to Adam. Because we all knew that. Duh! That only enforces the theory even more! Although it is 4 years of difference, so, you know, you could explain it that way, but yeah. Watch the Nerd Tower video for Doomsday? No. I don't think I will. But thank you. It's 5 years later? No, it's 4 years later, but I remember. I think Johnny is holding Franklin in that one scene in the trailer. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's totally possible. Yeah. Man, I'm starting to get excited. They have really cooked on this movie, huh? They really cooked in this movie. That seems like they're cooking. Watch it. It's a comprehensive leak that explains the plot better than anyone. No. I don't think I will. But thank you. Josh, who is the character in the trailer? Quick scene of Gambit smashing his kinetic energy to the staff on the floor. 127 of the trailer, bottom right. They look red. Wait, what? Oh my God, it's the Red Skull. Josh, I hate you. I don't hate you. I just love myself so fucking much that I basically almost never do things I don't want to do. And I hope you understand. And if you don't, that's okay. Do you know what I'm talking about? No, I have no idea what you're talking about. So does he go to 828 and kill their Doom, and he's still originally from their universe? No, he's from 828, which, by the way, apparently they changed this. They changed this. He's from 828. He actually pulls a Wanda Maximoff. He learns about the multiverse. Wanda learned about the multiverse. He learns that in other universes, there are versions of Doom, or maybe a serious lack of versions of Doom, and there are other universes that have things that he would want. What does he want? Vanessa Kirby. And let's be honest, who doesn't? She's so fucking foxy. So the Doctor Doom of that universe probably really liked Sue Storm, but she decided to date that nerd, Reed Richards. And Doom probably gets a little biffed about this. And then he looks out into the multiverse and finds a universe where there's no Reed Richards, or he goes in there and kills Reed Richards. And then he takes over as Daddy Doom, builds his whole life, and he has everything he ever wanted. And then Steve Rogers and Loki fucked it up for him, caused an incursion. You know what I'm saying? Ordered a mail-in Sue from the multiverse? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of did. Yeah, he kind of did. He's like going through the universe like Tinder. Swipe left, swipe left, swipe left. Oh, a Sue Storm without Reed Richards? Swipe right. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Which, according to Alex Perez, that is a change. They were originally going to have him just be from a different universe, which I actually would have really liked. I think it's better that way. The reason they changed it is they want to have an actual history between Sue, Reed, and Doom that's like real. So I honestly think it's the simple fact that by the time they were filming that scene, they didn't have a definitive mask designed down yet. No, that's just not true. Like, I'm just telling you that's not true. But I don't know why he'd have his mask off. Yeah, and also, why does that mask perfectly match up to these other followers of Doom? Right? Yeah. Any thoughts on what the last scene in Endgame Encore is going to be? Maybe Loki going to visit Cap? I don't really know. Maybe it's Doom. Maybe it's Doctor Doom. Maybe it's Doctor Doom watching the entire movie from a TVA cell or something. I don't know. Pedro mentioned the carpet changing color and had to be stopped from revealing the reason. Yeah, so like again, I think it's another universe. Like I think that's actually pretty. I think that makes 100% sense. But what do I know? Josh, you think we get Jessica Alba back? I do, but probably only for a second before she gets killed again. John's Honest Take says, oh, by the way, appreciate that, man. 59 months of support. That's crazy. Thank you, brother. Says, from the first time since Infinity War Endgame, the OG MCU hype is palpable again. I can feel it in my chest, and I'm so happy. Yeah, dude, I mean, I'm like really excited and genuinely excited. There was even some question on whether or not I'd genuinely get to this level of excitement. I've sort of ebbed and flowed. There were a couple of months there where like I was excited about Doomsday, but there was really nothing coming out, right? But now all of a sudden, like, hell yeah, dude, I feel like we're there, baby. So I'm pretty excited. Josh, can you give my wife Sophia an over-the-top shout-out? She loves your content. Sophia, thank you so much for loving the content. I love your name. Sophia, wisdom. It's beautiful. I haven't been this excited for an SDCC since Marvel used to announce the movie slates. I agree, man. I agree. I'm excited. When do you think the Endgame remake tickets will go on sale? Probably this weekend at San Diego Comic-Con when they announce some cool shit that's going to be in there. Let's go! What do you think about Doom collecting multiversal artifacts from across the MCU universes and have complete control over reality? Yeah, I think that's probably going to happen, and it's dope, dude. That's dope, man. Movie slate's coming back? Probably, but I don't think this year. Can you imagine? What if Kevin Feige came out on stage and he's like, I actually have a 10-year plan, and we'll actually do it, unlike those shit fucks up the street. And then they put up all these pictures of James Gunn, and then the whole crowd's like, boo! Boo! Yeah, probably not going to happen. That's just a fantasy I have. That's just a fantasy I have personally, so. How's that Authority movie coming along, James? All right. Anyways, guys. Really appreciate it. Let's get out of this segment here. Let's get a little tunage going on here. Hell yeah. I'm gonna get out of here soon. We'll of course get those clips going on. I think some of this info is like main channel worthy of a video, so I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. But overall, man, I'm just really excited. We'll stream again tomorrow. We'll be streaming Saturday night. Sunday, I'll be working on breakdown videos of the second trailer and theory videos and all that kind of fun stuff. Next week's gonna be crazy. We go right into Spider-Man. I'm seeing Spider-Man Wednesday next week, so I'll probably do some kind of like reaction thing video that Thursday, and then that Friday morning stream will be full on spoilers for Spider-Man. So if you see Spider-Man either Wednesday or Thursday, Friday morning, we're going to get together, full spoilers. We're going to have a great time getting into all of that. So, yeah, these next couple of weeks, hell yeah, like we're cooking. It's awesome. Make a short. I am going to get back to making shorts once we get a couple more of the new editors plugged in. I've had a little bit of trouble, but we're working on it. We're working on it. So we're close. Can you give us a reaction to the Spider-Man movie right now? Yeah. Check this out. Ready? Wow. Pretty good. Yeah, man. Okay, everybody. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. If I missed your super chat, I'm sorry, man. There was just a lot of them today. Didn't mean it in any way. You know what I mean? I love all the support. I appreciate it. Thank you. As I always say, I hope you, that's right, you, are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Leave. Man, that's crazy. Like, we did not talk about some of the stuff I had on my notes, but there's enough cool shit out there that, like, we got into some fun stuff. You know, we got into some fun speculation. I mean, Downey's back. You know, Gary's right. I don't know what to tell you. Gary's right. Yeah, and to me, it's like, fuck yeah. Like, I'm just like so excited, and I actually do think it's kind of crazy. Like, people don't believe it, right? But that to me is why it's impressive. Like, it legitimately is hard to conceptualize. It seems like there's a lot stacked against that happening, which is what makes it impressive, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's good. Anyway, Lots of dope stuff today, lots of dope stuff tomorrow, and I think a lot of dope stuff Saturday night. We are in the thick of it, Nerd Avengers. I hope you're having fun, man. I hope you're vibing out. Hell, we've been through the hard times. We've been through the fall off. We've been through the Marvels, the Morbius, the horse shit. We've been through it. So we earned this. Put your feet up. Kick back. Kevin is still the GOAT, and he has absolutely cooked up an elaborate buffet, a smorgasbord, if you will, of lovely little treats and supple portions of hearty meat and potatoes. I'm excited. Legit. I'll see you tomorrow. Get on out of here. And as you do, open up your third eye. And wash out your stinky butthole. See you later.